What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and I know you guys are probably wondering where I've been at. I've just had a very busy couple of weeks since the new season started. I know I've had a ton of updates and move changes and stuff, and I've been eager to make videos talking about this stuff, showcasing some of these new move sets and these changes to the moves and what they're able to do in Go Battle League. But had a very busy week, and then I was away at Download Festival for like the 5 nights of camping, which if you're aware of Download Festival, absolute madness, no chance of mobile signal, was not doing any battles. I couldn't even play Axew Community Day. I think I managed to get into the game and caught about 30 Axew over the total of 3 hours. So really just not an appropriate place to be playing Pokemon Go, to be honest. No stops, no anything. So I've been a very, I've had a very slow start to the season. I think I've only just hit rank 20 and got my starting ELO, which is at about 2250. But I'm eager to jump in, start showing some stuff off for you guys and see what we can do. And to start off with this season, I wanted to talk about Shadow Articuno, and this is for 2 reasons. Mainly because Shadow Articuno is currently in on the weekend raids, and Articuno used to be one of the strongest, most popular picks in the Ultra League alongside Swampert, Melmetal, Registeel if you had one maxed out at level 40, because this was back before XL Pokemon were a thing, and Giratina and stuff like that. But back then I didn't have a good regular IV Articuno to use. My best was my first Shadow Articuno, which I built for the Ultra League, and I've still got this thing at about 2500 CP. So we're running with that, and I wanted to show it and just show off what it can do and what it's still capable of in the Ultra League and whether it's still viable. So the team we're going to be running is a very classic Ultra League line. We're going to put in Articuno on the lead, and in the back we're bringing Swampert and Zap Cannon Registeel. Now either Swampert or Registeel could be a safe swap depending on what kind of lead you're seeing. Personally, I think Registeel is a stronger safe swap currently in the Ultra League, and so one we'll probably be using a little bit more often. The main problem Articuno has in general in its play is steel typing, because all its moves are resisted by steels. You know, you've got ice moves, you've got ancient power, you've got hurricane, and all that. Steel types are just going to absolutely wall you off. So the main thing is you need a steel counter if you are going to run Articuno. My personal favourite is going to be Swampert, but there are other very viable anti-steels as well. Things like the Cobalion and Virizion as well are very strong. Registeel does okay, Giratina does okay, but we're opting for Swampert and Registeel just for the classic Ultra League feel. Now, a few of the more recent changes that's come this season do not suit Articuno at all. The fact that Alot and Sandslash got buffed is terrible for Articuno. The fact that Trevenant is rarer, terrible for Articuno. But I've done pretty well with this team. I went pretty solid. I had positive sets running this line, which was better than I expected. I was kind of expecting this might have been a video of showing Articuno it not doing that well and talking about how it's really been punished over the last couple of years by changes to Go Battle League. But honestly, it's got more play than I expected it to have. You see in this matchup we're able to grab a shield advantage against a Buzzwole lead, and the shield advantage can go a long way in the Ultra League, especially if you're running picks like Registeel that can really get ahead even in bad matchups just with that shield advantage. So here we've got a Swampert in the back lined up with our Reggie, and we're going to be able to shield up the first Earthquake. We've got a debuff off on them as well, and now we're going to go for a Focus Blast. Now, in hindsight, we could probably have just gone for double Focus Blast to definitely take this Swampert out a little bit sooner, because it's going to survive here with 1 HP, and I do think this is going to be an Earthquake that comes through, whereas 2 Focus Blasts at this point would have KO'd. We would have had to use the shield, but would have been a bit better position health-wise. But either way, this is a Charm Clefable, not running the new move of Fairy Wind, which is good for us. It's going to give us a chance to get this Zap Cannon off, absolutely shred this Clefable's attack, and now we can race to a Hydro Cannon, finish them off, and we're going to take the win, despite getting Reggie lined up with a Swampert in the back, and despite losing Switch Advantage. That shield advantage can go a long way, and Articuno was a big part in getting a hold of that. Alright, straight on into the next matchup, and I believe on lead here we end up catching a Giratina, which is perfect. This is the absolute lead you want to see with your Articuno. They're going to swap out into Talonflame. We've got the Swampert for the pretty hard punish here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build up energy, not throw a Hydro Cannon, because in the Ultra League, Talonflame can survive the first Hydro Cannon anyway, so we wanted to get that extra energy. They threw the Brave Bird, so now 1 Hydro Cannon takes them out. We've got a buttload of energy. Yes, we've given up shield advantage from an advantageous position, but I think it's worth doing, because here we've already got an Earthquake, which does big damage to Giratina if they don't shield it up. We're going to be able to get to more Earthquakes and get that shield back, or take out Giratina with just this Swampert, and if we get into that position we're looking very good, because then we can just debuff whatever's in the back with Articuno, and Registeel is going to be able to sweep the end of the game. So they are going to swap out into Charizard. We're just going to bring in Articuno here. This is not ideal. Charizard's going to annihilate us with the Blast Burn, but we just want those Icy Winds off. We could go for the Ancient Power for the one-shot, but we are expecting them to shield up. We've got one shield out of them now. They throw a Dragon Claw, which is a bit bad news for us. If this is a Blast Burn, this will take us out and puts us in a pretty scary position, which it is. In hindsight, once again, we should really just save the shield for Swampert to potentially get more Hydro Cannons off, or save it for Registeel to get more Zap Cannons off. It was a risky move, shielding up a potential Dragon Claw, and it's not going to matter. We're still in a strong enough position here. We've already debuffed this Charizard, and even if it clears its debuff swapping out, which they might do, the Blast Burn is not going to be able to take us out anyway. They have to land 2 to knock out Registeel, and with the debuff, yeah, it's still 50%. And the Charizard really was in just an impossible situation at this point, because an Ancient Power from Articuno would have took him out, a Hydro Cannon from Swampert would have took him out, and a Zap Cannon from Registeel would have taken him out. So they just don't have the pace and the power to push through all that, and we're able to force that win through. Alright, Warrain lead. Depending on what you're running in the back with Articuno, depends whether you've got to stay in that matchup or not. Because we've got Swampert and Registeel, we're just going to swap straight out, see what we can pull out. Terrible news, we pull out a Venusaur. That is absolutely horrendous for Swampert, and they don't fall for the bait when we build up to the Earthquake and throw. So now we're just going to go for Hydro Cannon spam. They want to try and get extra energy. They're going to have to give up a shield, or they have to go throw eventually. So we're going to let them throw here. That's fine. We're going to go for a farm down with Articuno. We figure if we get this energy, we can just spam super effective Ancient Powers into Warrain. And while Ancient Power is not the best move, it is going to do decent damage. So we just get the farm down, swap out to Registeel. Let's bank that energy on Articuno, see what they've got in the back. And Warrain's going to stay in so far. This could be an Earthquake. It's worth a shield. Is an Earthquake. That's fantastic for us. And there's another bloody Swampert in the back. So really we're getting some hard counter lines going on here. But let's see if we can pull this matchup back. This could be an Earthquake. We're not going to show that. We're going to call it a bait. Is it? Is an Earthquake? That's pretty rough. For us, we're just going to go straight for the Focus Blast. Let's get some big damage on this thing. And I guess all we're hoping for here is that we can just Ancient Power spam that Warrain into oblivion, but it's not looking good. We actually catch. Is this an Earthquake catch? If it is, this could be a game changer. It's not. It's a Hydro Cannon. That is not good for us. We're going to throw Ancient Power straight away, and we expected them to swap out into Warrain there to try and catch the move. So we thought we were going to be throwing Ancient Power into the Warrain, and it's just a bit of a disaster here. We've an absolute train wreck. This game is not going our way. We're trying to see it through anyway, but it's not going to be enough. The Warrain doesn't even need to shield because the Swampert can finish this game. Absolutely no worries, because we didn't knock it out by throwing Icy Wind at it instead of Ancient Power. Otherwise, this had been a little bit closer for a farm down. We still would have lost, but would have been a little bit closer on the line either way. GG. Also, you guys are going to have to forgive some sloppy plays, because this is early in the season. I take it very, very casual at the start. I don't want to go too try hard. So if I just make some silly mistakes, try not to hold it against me, I swear. I'm just having a bit of fun with it here. But terrible lead once again. Aurorus, just Articuno doesn't want to see. Aurorus is going to run rings around you. The Meteor Beam's going to one-shot 2 Articunos probably. We swap out into Swampert because Registeel's a harder counter, and we pull out Virizion, which Swampert cannot bloody touch without Sludge Wave, so we're just getting Leaf Bladed, annihilated. Bring in Articuno. This shouldn't be Stone Edge, but it's not. Thank God. That would have been devastating if Articuno just got one shot as well. Straight after, we've got a gamble. We're just going to go for extra energy here. They're going to throw another Sacred Sword, get us pretty low. It's a bit of a shame with CMP tied here with this move. We should have just thrown one turn sooner, or just try to build up some more energy. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to put everything onto Registeel. We're going to hit with the Weather Ball, and there's Gliscor in the back, which is, again, probably one of the hardest answers to Registeel out there as well. So we've got Aurorus on Articuno, Virizion on Swampert, and Gliscor on Registeel. But we've got a shield advantage. This video is going to end up being a showcase for what Registeel can do, I swear. So we get baited with the Night Slash. That's absolutely terrible for us. Shield up here. Is it the Earthquake? It is. Okay, now we're talking. Can we still bring this game back? We need to catch an Earthquake, probably on Articuno. We're not. We're going to snipe down. We get the snipe. Okay, there's a chance in this game because Aurorus struggles with Registeel. We just need to debuff him. We need to throw this Icy Wind. Just drop that attack stat a little bit, and we need to get to 2 Focus Blasts before this Aurorus farms us. Well, not farms us down, but throws enough charge moves. It's so loaded on energy here. Meteor Beam coming through buffs their attack, so they're back to neutral attack stat now. We're going to go for the Zap Cannon because we want to survive extra charge moves. We do CMP tie here, the Meteor Beam hitting us for half of what we got left. They get another Meteor Beam off, it's over, because even with this debuff, it will be enough damage to finish us off. It's going to be very close. This seems a little early. If it's a Weather Ball, it's not quite going to KO us. It is a Weather Ball. We survive it. Can we make the Focus Boss? We can. And we're going to bring back the most hard counter game you have ever seen. Like, I cannot even believe that I won that match. I'm not sure if the opponent played it badly or I played it well. I don't know, but I'll take the win that I can get against that lineup, because that is an awful matchup. But you guys don't need me telling you that Registeel is amazing in the Ultra League, especially with a shield advantage. Right, next matchup, Togekiss lead. This is fantastic because we have two options for handling it. We've got Registeel in the back, it's going to do very well, and we've got Articuno, which is going to be doing super effective ice damage as well. So they bring in an Obstagoon safe swap. We're going to choose to just debuff them once and then bring in Swampert. We're going to make them feel like switch advantage might matter here, and we might try and get a shield out of them. Not sure, we'll see. Depends what they want to try and do here, but we don't mind. Swampert has our worst matchup against Togekiss. We're a little conscious that they might have another fighter in the back just to deal with steals. So we're probably going to opt to bring in Registeel back against the Togekiss if it comes in, just to make sure that we keep Registeel away from any hard counters that Articuno might have a little bit more neutral play against. I'm expecting possibly like a Scrafty or something like that in the back at this point, because if you safe swap in Obstagoon, you might be trying to bait out a Charmer as well. We're able to get a shield advantage. There's a Swampert in the back. Okay, that is a very, very solid steal answer, but Swampert is not a good Articuno answer, especially down a shield, because we can survive one Hydro Cannon anyway. We're going to shield up the first regardless because they just swapped in, and we're going to start debuffing them. They can't swap out to clear this debuff now. So we're just going to stay in this matchup. We know we've got Registeel to wall that Togekiss, so we're looking very, very strong at this point. Just going to throw another Icy Wind, and it is a Shadow Swampert and we're a Shadow Articuno, so it's going to hit pretty hard. No, sorry, it's not a Shadow Swampert. That's me just being dumb. Doesn't matter. This is probably worth the shield just because there's not much else left in the game that's going to be doing too much damage. We found them down entirely. We can debuff the Togekiss for good measure, but this is a GG anyway because Registeel just walls Togekiss, as we all know. We take him out the Articuno. Games are good, and GG. Now, is this team super balanced? Do we have an answer for every kind of lead? Not particularly. Charizard is not really a good lead for us to see because Registeel doesn't want to see it. Articuno doesn't want those Blast Burn smokes, but we can get shields out of them because Ancient Power is going to obliterate Charizard, and most Charizards respect the Ancient Power. So we get a shield out of them with the Icy Wind. I think, really, because you have to shield anyway, they're still going to outpace you to Blast Burns and stuff like that, and debuffing isn't going to change the Blast Burn one-shotting you. So you're probably better off just going for Ancient Power and taking the chance that they're going to let it through and think that you've got Hurricane. I'm going to swap out into Swampert, and we've got a bit of energy advantage. So we're going to be able to get a shield out of them, or we're going to be able to get switch advantage here. So we almost knocked them out. This is worth a shield because that means we can line up Swampert with Charizard. Also, we've got enough health to threaten the Charizard if it comes back in for a farm down. They've got to throw straight away. That's fantastic. It means the Charizard's energy dry, means Swampert can definitely handle it now. And then we're just hoping that Registeel is going to have good play in the back against whatever's there. It's going to be a Kingdra, and we're just going to opt to throw an Earthquake here. We're thinking they hope that they've caught a move, which they haven't. We'll get that last shield, and that means that Swampert can definitely just get to a Hydro Cannon, obliterate Charizard because of the fact that Swampert just outpaces Charizard, even to Blast Burns and Dragon Claws. We've got no health to survive one of those moves anyway. We're going to start going for these Zap Cannons, just wipe out this Kingdra. We're just going to go for the debuffs. I do think that they got the Octazooka debuff on us there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it does mean that we can just Zap Cannon them twice and just put them into farm down range. So we're going to throw this here, and then we're just going to go for a lock-on down, which will either get him super low or it forces out the Charizard here. And I don't think this Charizard should have this much energy. It's thrown like a few Blast Burns. I just feel like it's thrown more Blast Burns than it should have thrown at that point. I could just be miscounting the energy. Charizard is scary fast at gathering energy. But either way, we take him out with the Hydro Cannon. Kindra's not going to be able to keep up. We one-shot them down and we take the win. Things are turning a little bit more positively now that we've got some of these neutral leads coming up. Another Charizard. Again, like we said, not perfect, but not terrible either, just because you can get shields in this even situation. Most Charizards aren't going to bother baiting you. They want to wipe you out or get a shield. So Blast Burn is an obvious shield for us. Then we're going to go for the Ancient Power here. We're going to gamble. Are they going to let it through? They're not. That's completely fine. We're just going to keep going. They're going to throw here. They do just outpace you, which is just a bit unfortunate, but it's worth staying in because look at how much our Ice Shards are adding up. Charizard's getting absolutely wiped out here. Melmetal's going to swap in, and we're going to catch. Now, if a Melmetal swaps in on this team and you've got Swampert and Registeel in the back, you can go for either. Registeel does just fine because they have to keep throwing superpowers at you, which is just going to debuff them into the ground. You can one-shot them with Focus Blast, absolutely no worries. But we're going to opt for Swampert because it's a similar situation. They have to go for superpowers to do any meaningful damage. And we got a feeling that a Charizard lead, Melmetal say swap, they might be weak to Steel in the back. We just got a feeling. Because both Charizard and Melmetal don't want to see Swamperts. So maybe Giratina, maybe it's a Mewtwo. Okay, there's a bit of spice here. If this thing's got Focus Blast, it's actually pretty scary because it's got some energy advantage. But they swap out to Charizard. We've got the Energy Articuno. We're going to snipe in with the Ancient Power. Bang. Get him out of there. If that Mewtwo doesn't throw straight away, we're going to debuff him as well. Mewtwo can't take a hit for shit. And this is going to hit pretty hard as well. Now we could just probably lock on down, actually. We don't even need to get to a move on Registeel. Even if it's got Focus Blast, we should survive just because of the fact that Mewtwo's not fully leveled up in the Ultra League and Registeel is very, very bulky. But it's just Side Strike. We're just going to go for a Focus Blast, take them out. Doesn't matter. Mewtwo's squishy. Bang. Get out of there. GG's there as well. Now, if we'd have saved Swampert for whoever's in the back and brought Registeel into Melmetal, that would have been a lot scarier because Swampert can't take Side Strikes as well as Registeel can, that's for sure. Right, Defense Deoxys. This is one of the big scuppers to this team with the introduction of XL Pokemon, because Defense Deoxys was not Ultra League viable before XL Pokemon were a thing, and unfortunately this thing has Rock Slide because there's Charizards and Talonflames and Articunos that it wants to be double super effective against, and we've got Registeel, which is weak to it as well. But we're going to say swap Registeel because Deoxys' charge moves just aren't threatening. So it built up a bit of energy there and we swapped in to bait them, see what they wanted to do. Obstagoon's going to come into meters. Not the strongest Registeel counter because they have to shield up. These Focus Blasts are going to absolutely obliterate them. They need to just keep throwing charge moves to wear us down. And they're just throwing Obstruct, which I get as a reasonable tactic, but also this means that if they let this through, which they do, boom, it's not going to quite KO them. I didn't realise they could do that. I didn't realise they could Obstruct like twice and then survive a Focus Blast. That actually blew me away a little bit. But no worries, bringing Articuno. Just going to go for the farm down, get a bit more energy. And we're trying to swap out to Swampert straight away. We want to preserve this energy on Articuno just in case we can snipe in the last moments like we did against the Charizard in the last game. This Deoxys is going to misjudge Swampert's speed massively. Hydro Cannon, they better shield up or they're going to get taken out, which they are going to do. Okay, now if this is a Psycho Boost, which it is, okay, it's not super threatening, and this is going to probably be another Psycho Boost, which I think we're not going to shield now. Let it go. That's fine. Build up more energy. Another Psycho Boost is coming through. We're going to let it go. We're going to survive this. It's completely fine. We can take this. Absolutely no worries. We're going to build up extra energy as close as we can get before we throw the Hydro Cannon just to take them out. And what have they got in the back? It's going to be... Is that a... What was that? Was that Umbreon? It might have been Umbreon. I'm not entirely sure. No, it's a Drapion. I just saw Dark typing in the top right. This is fine for us. We can just Icy Wind this thing into the ground. And if not, we can Hydro Cannon it into the ground as well. So we're just going to farm them down with Articuno and take the win. GG. That's a big advantage of Shadow Articuno over regular. He's been able to two-shot Drapion, and also Swampert cannot take an Icy Wind plus all the ice shards as well. They will add up and take them out, whereas I think on a regular Articuno you have to land 2 Icy Winds. Venusaur lead, fantastic for Articuno. Those Icy Winds are going to absolutely obliterate them, and it means we keep Venusaur away from Swampert as well. If they do swap out, we still have versatility because Registeel walls Venusaur as well. So we've got nice options here on how to play this matchup out, but they're going to stay in, which leads me to believe that they're weak to Articuno in the back, because staying in with Venusaur against Articuno is not strictly the best idea overall. We're going to be able to completely farm them down here and come out with nearly 2 Icy Winds worth of energy in the neutral one shield situation. They bring in a Clefable. So what we're going to do here is, I was tempted at first to swap out, preserve the energy and see what they had in the back, because like I said, Articuno's probably got good play against it. We thought, no, we'll stay in with Articuno, line up Registeel against this thing, and then we've got Swampert, whatever's in the back. Just because this Clefable's so low already, Swampert can handle it anyway, depending on whatever it is in the back. Not going to shield up the charge move, and they're just going to surrender there. Who knows what they had in the back? I guess it was either weak to Registeel or what, or they just realised that they were absolutely scuppered. And that's going to be a quick 5-0 set there as well. And I know we've had a bit of non-hard meta spice in here because we are rank 20, but don't let that deter you. This is a solid team. Articuno is a solid pick in the Ultra League. As long as you keep it away from the bad matchups, it's very good in all the neutral and positive matchups. Right, Granbull lead with Charm, which Granbull with Charm is just disgusting. Lord knows why they gave it a Shadow form, because the last thing we need is Shadow Charmers. But that aside, we're just going to stay in. We can probably throw 2 Icy Winds, force a shield advantage in this situation, or switch advantage just because Granbull's pretty squishy. If they shield this up, it's fine. We're going to let Articuno go down, and depending where they are HP range wise, they're not super low. I think we're going to bring in Swampert because we can probably Mudshot down. Actually, we're going to choose to Mudshot down, not shield up. This is a close combat, which it's not. If it had been close combat, we'd be able to farm them down much easier. Doesn't matter. It's just crunch. We're just going to farm them down because Swampert with this much energy is threatening to pretty much everything in the meta. Giratina comes in, throw the Earthquake, swap to Registeel, see what they've got in the back. It's a Lucario, scary business, except they've got no shields. We've got one. We've got Focus Blast. Lucario's about to get blasted into next week. Goodbye. We'll see you in the next video. And Giratina's back in here. We can debuff them. Swampert's still got some energy. We've still got a shield. We can get to another Earthquake to finish them off. This game is done and dusted. And once again, we're left wondering really if Registeel's the MVP on this team. But I like to think Articuno keeps setting it up pretty well in these matches. GG. Okay, let's take a look at something a little different, but something you are likely to see at some point in the Ultra League. That's Gyarados running Dragon Breath as its fast move. Now, we really just want to keep Swampert away from this thing just because Gyarados can put a lot of pressure on in that matchup and you're forced to throw not very effective charge moves no matter what you throw at it. We're going to shield up a crunch. We're going to get debuffed. Fantastic. Not. We're going to undo it with the Icy Wind. And you saw how hard that hit. That's really, really nice because that means that it's now in farm down range for Articuno or realistically Registeel as well. We're going to slightly misjudge swapping to catch here and take an Icicle Spear, which we are going to just survive. Bring in Registeel and just go straight for a Zap Cannon. Is it going to shield up? They do. That's fine. Just going to keep going on this path. We're not going to shield up. Even if it's an Earthquake, it doesn't matter. Warren has to land 2 Earthquakes anyway on a Registeel, and if we're debuffing them with Zap Cannons, they might have to land an Icicle Spear as well for good measure. So absolutely no stress here. Boom, we're going to get them super, super low. This is Earthquake. Doesn't matter. It's an Icicle Spear it is. No stress at all. We're going to farm down. Gyarados comes back in. They're going to get to a move before we do. Not ideal. But we're going to go for a ballsy move here. This is a Shadow Gyarados, right? We're going to go for Swampert. We're going to go for a Mudshot down. These are double resisted Mudshots. We might get this. This is going to hurt. We're going to shield up. We're forced to really, depending on what they've got in the back. Can Swampert clean up this game with no shields and an energy advantage? They're stalling. They're wondering what to bring in. They bring in War Rain. We hope to get the farm down. They're going to get a sneaky Icicle Spear off. That's really unfortunate. We're going to get extra low. And they've got their own Swampert in the back. Now, I don't think this means that we can win this game. I'm going to bring in Articuno. I'm going to go straight for the Ice Wind. This is a bad idea. We should have thrown the other Hydro Cannon on our Swampert first and then thrown this move, because look at this. They're going to do what we did to Gyarados. Farmers down. We lose CMP tight. We're going to lose the match just because we didn't just throw 2 Hydro Cannons back to back there at first into the Swampert. We didn't realise we were in farm down range after we debuffed their Swampert, and that was our mistake and it cost us the game. GG to the opponent. Okay, we're going back to the Charizard lead, and this guy is going to show us why you do not bother with Ancient Power, because this ballsy motherfucker is going to not shield the Icy Wind, right? It's going to shield this up. It's going to be the Blast Burn, as we would usually predict. Going to go for the Icy Wind, and they're going to let this thing go through, which is absolutely devastating because we can't farm them down. If it's a Shadow Charizard, you can just Ice Shard them down at that point, and it takes them out. No worries, but here we're going to have to shield up another Blast Burn and then farm them down, and we're just hoping that this much energy on Articuno is going to be useful. They're bringing a Bomber Snow. That's not bad. Getting switch advantage actually is pretty important in this matchup because it means we can line up Registeel and keep Swampert away from it. But also, we're down 2 shields. Not many situations are good when you're down 2 shields. It gives the opponent a lot of control of what happens in the second half of the game. They're going to shield up the Ancient Power, which is a little bit unfortunate. We're going to get to another one. They're going for a farm down. They're struggling to make it. They're going to shield this up. They are. So they're choosing to load up a Abomasnow. They've committed their shields to load it up. And they got Cresselia in the back. We blindly swap in Swampert, which might sound like a stupid decision, and maybe it is. But also, Swampert's got no play against the Abomasnow. It's just going to Energy Ball and one-shot us. At least if Grass Knot isn't quite going to one-shot us. They have to land 2. Otherwise, we're going to start putting some serious work in with these Hydro Cannons. We see we've got it down below half already. We know our win con is Registeel. So we're not feeling too wound up about this situation because we might get them in farm down range here for lock-on. It's going to be iffy. Maybe it's a little far. We're not quite sure. If we push this farm down too hard, it'll put us in range of a strong charge move from the Abomasnow. But surely not. Surely Cresselia can't throw that many moves. They're spamming the Grass Knots, spamming the Grass Knots. No, we can take these all day. It's fine. We're just going to lock on down. Going to just tap, 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 tap. Then we're just going to sit, we'll play CMP tie, throw a Focus Blast. They'll get one move through on Abomasnow. It's not going to be enough, and we'll just take them out and take the win, right? Because we'll survive this. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's Blizzard for some reason. But it's just Weather Ball. No stress at all. Focus Blast comes through. We take the win. GG. So the opponent was really not prepped for a Registeel in the back. And that's something I really enjoy about Articuno as well as a lead, is that opponents struggle to read what you've got in the back. They're going to assume you've got an anti-steal probably, but whether that's Swampert or a fighter or something else like a Trevenant is quite hard to judge. And Trevenant lead in this matchup, fantastic for us. We're going to be outpacing them slightly. I think it's 8 Shadow Claws to the Shadow Ball, so they get there on 16 turns. We get to Icy Wind on 15 turns. So not only do we get to throw first, we get a nice shard through when they choose to throw here. So Seed Bombay, we make a very ballsy call to not shield up, which I'm not really sure what compelled me to do that, but I'm feeling very, very cocky that it did happen like that, and then shield up a Shadow Ball and farm them down entirely. Feeling absolute big bollock energy right now. Swampert's going to come in. This is fantastic. We can just line up our Swampert with it after debuffing them into Oblivion because we got so much energy. And then Registeel is almost certainly going to have good play against whatever's in the back because Trevenant lead, Swampert in the back. Surely your last Pokemon's weak to Registeel. You're not bringing triple Regi counters. If they are, I'm just not going to be impressed. But Hydro Cannon comes through, bringing our Swampert. We're just going to farm them down. We double debuffed them. Don't really mind what they throw. We're going to preserve the shield for potentially either Swampert or Registeel, whatever they got in the back. They got Charizard, right. We're saving the shield for Swampert. They might not even see our Registeel in this game because we're just going to go for these Hydro Cannons. We got a bit of lag there. You saw that there was like our fast moves went out of sync and it seemed that we lost one. But we got the shield advantage. We're going to bring in Registeel because we can survive a Blast Burn no matter what. We're going to Zap Cannon this Charizard, get it out of here, and then we can just handle the Swampert. Absolutely no worries. So, for Charizard, doesn't matter. Boom, get out of there. And then we can probably just lock on down actually at this point, and it's going to be a good game. Alright, one matchup left for you guys, and I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it. There is nothing that we can do in this matchup. Honestly, Articuno is probably the best answer to their entire lineup because we've just got such bad counters in the back. We're going to see we're swapping Registeel, and then a Machamp's going to come into meters, and that's just going to set the tone for the rest of this game. But Articuno, I think it's a lot of fun in the Ultra League, and I like showing it off just because not many people use it anymore. Plus, shadows are always fun to use with things like the legendaries and stuff. I think it always throws people out a little bit. So I had a ton of fun with this team. Is it the best Ultra League team? Absolutely not. It's a little unbalanced in the current meta, but that sometimes works in your favour when you're not coming up against the most balanced opposing lines and when they're not prepping for, like I said, for you to have Articuno and Registeel that can handle quite a few things in the meta currently as well. And like I said, with the lack of Trevenants as well, Swampert and Registeel make a solid backline because there aren't that many Trevenants floating around. But guess what's in the back in this final game? You'll see, but it's what we're hoping not to see. Doesn't matter anyway. Let me know what you think of the team and Articuno down below as well. What are you guys running in Ultra League? Have you been out raiding the Shadow Articunos? I know it's a pain in the ass having to do them in person and not getting any help from remote raiders. It's such a drain on those gems just running out. Like, we go out with a squad of like 3 of us, just trying to grind those raids out, and you're not getting enough shards back to keep up with the raids. We had the same problem with Mewtwo as well, because I really struggled to get a shiny Shadow Mewtwo. I think it took me 60 odd Shadow Mewtwo raids to get my shiny, and we've been struggling with Articuno as well. Just this last, well, today we've been out trying to grind some out, and it's just been an absolute disaster. We've just not been able to get many of them down, running out of gems, because I feel like they've nerfed the amount of shards that you get from the raids compared to when it was Mewtwo as well. But that's my little complaint over at the end of the video. If you stuck around this long, apologies for subjecting you to that. But as always, guys, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and you're all absolute legends. Bye.